A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a dramatic display of public discontent, protests erupted across France on Wednesday, marking a significant challenge for President Emmanuel Macron and his newly appointed Prime Minister, Sébastien Lecornu. The demonstrations, fueled by a collective known as Bloquons Tout, or Block Everything, have seen tens of thousands of protesters taking to the streets, resulting in over 250 arrests and widespread disruptions. The protests were sparked by growing frustration over proposed budget cuts and perceived government negligence, echoing previous unrest seen in the country. As the sun rose over Paris, protesters began gathering in various locations, aiming to block major thoroughfares and disrupt public services. The government had deployed an extraordinary 80,000 police officers to manage the situation, but the demonstrators were determined to voice their grievances. Reports indicated that protesters were setting fires, blocking roads with burning debris, and clashing with police, who responded with tear gas to disperse the crowds. The protests were organized in response to Prime Minister François Barro's recent budget proposal, which included severe cuts amounting to 44 billion euros in an effort to address France's growing national debt. This plan, which also suggested eliminating 2 public holidays, was met with immediate backlash from various sectors of society. Many protesters expressed their anger over the erosion of public services and the rising cost of living, stating that they felt increasingly marginalized and impoverished. Aglan Vega, a nurse and union delegate, articulated the sentiments of many protesters, saying, "We're governed by robbers. People are suffering, finding it harder to last out the month, to feed themselves. We're becoming an impoverished nation." This sentiment reflects a broader discontent that has been simmering since the Yellow Vest protests of 2018 to 2019, which were sparked by similar issues of economic injustice and government policies. The Block Everything movement, which gained traction over the summer through social media, has attracted a diverse coalition of supporters, including labor unions and left-wing groups. The lack of a clear leadership structure has made it difficult to gauge the movement's full intentions, but many participants are calling for a constitutional overhaul and higher taxes on the wealthy, in addition to demanding Macron's resignation. Despite the protests being less intense than previous uprisings, they have nonetheless created a sense of urgency and crisis within the French government. Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau accused left-wing radicals of hijacking the movement, while acknowledging that the protests have a wide range of support. He claimed that some demonstrators were intent on violence, highlighting the challenges that Lecornu faces as he steps into his new role. As the day progressed, protests spread from Paris to cities like Marseille, Nantes, and Lyon, with demonstrators blocking roads and disrupting traffic. In Rennes, a bus was set ablaze, showcasing the escalating tensions. While some citizens criticized the disruptions, arguing that they undermine democratic processes, many others believe that the protests are a necessary means of expressing their frustrations. The cycle of political instability in France has left many citizens feeling disenfranchised, and the recent protests are a clear indication that the public's patience is wearing thin. With Lecornu now at the helm, the pressure is on him to navigate these turbulent waters and address the grievances of the French people. The protests on Wednesday serve as a reminder that the political landscape in France remains fraught with tension, and the call for change resonates deeply among the populace. As the situation develops, it remains to be seen how the government will respond and whether it can quell the unrest that has once again gripped the nation. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.